Going to the K-pop store. Today marks Weekly's 6-year anniversary, which I was a little down about. You know, 6 years seems like a long time. I wish they were still an active group. But waking up and seeing all the posts from the members being together, celebrating 6 years of Weekly, got me inspired. So we're going to the K-pop store to see what Weekly albums they have. A little throwback. So normally we don't venture this deep into the K-pop store, but we're looking for the Weekly section if they still have one. They might have been relegated to the other room, but we're gonna keep looking. Okay. Don't see any Weekly. Card. I still can't believe Edward dragged me to a Card concert. Mamamoo. Tuos, Baby Monster. Idol. Idol's tour may have flopped, but I think the new single's gonna be a bop. Yena. Shout out Yena. I found my section. I'm really irked that they've had me with BBG. I'd rather be somewhere else. We have found the promised land. What do they have? Let's see. Okay. The 6th album, aka the last album. Is that poetic that they ended on their 6th album, their 6 members? I remember when this album came out, I was like, Weekly's unstoppable. This is right after School. Why are these blues so different? You can see the color difference. I don't know if it was like just different packaging or light damage. Okay. So the oldest album they got is their most controversial album, Vampara. This almost tanked the group. Led to some very dark times. But yeah, at least they still have a Weekly section. Shout out to 6 years of Weekly. We just left the coffee shop, the best coffee shop on planet Earth. I clear my throat. But I seriously cannot believe today marks 6 years of Weekly. If I think back to 2020, this was right before Weekly was about to debut. I was already tapped into JYP. Like when I first got into K-pop, that's all I did was listen to everybody on JYP. And I was like, damn, let me see who's coming out and check out some new shit, because I know there has to be more good music out there. And I'll never forget, like all around the same time, Weekly debuted, Stacy debuted, aespa debuted, and those were like the first like 3 debuts that like really stood out to me, because that's when I like just kind of told myself like, I'm all right, we're gonna start paying attention and getting into more stuff. And I just love Weekly. When I heard Tag Me for the first time, I just was just like, wow, this is a bop. Is this what K-pop is? So I stuck with them, and it was an interesting journey because I felt like for them, like every release up until Vampara, it was just like bop after bop, and they were just like had this like steady climb through the industry. Obviously, like when they came out with After School, they just like took over the whole industry. But they were just like one of those groups where I was just so confused on why they hadn't made it to America. And when Vampara, like song came out, and there was like that weird like darkness in their career where they just kind of went away. I didn't think it would ever happen, but when they finally did make it to America, I didn't like they had like persevered and made it through like that dark period, and I thought they were fine. So getting to see them on their first world tour was amazing. Like I could not have asked for a better time. We got like front row, stage left, right in front of Jihan. We did the fan sign, which was amazing. Like to this day, I remember talking to every member except for Monday, because Monday was sick, so she didn't do the fan sign. But sitting down and Zoa being the first one, and me just being nervous because I know so much about like every member. I was like, man, what do I tell Zoa? And the thing that I led with was I just asked her about her best friend, Jiwoo from Triple S, and that was hilarious because I don't think she was into it at all. She seemed a little annoyed that I kept asking her about Jiwoo. And right after her was Jaehee, which that was a little tougher because Jaehee's English isn't the best. So I was just asking her about her acting career and if she still had any desire to want to be a rapper. And then we got to Jihan, and I remember telling myself, okay, when we get to Jihan, I just have to establish dominance and let her know that she is my bias. So, like, as I sat down, I just pulled my phone out. I didn't even care. You're not supposed to do that. But I showed her, like, the back of my phone, which was, like, her photo card from the after-school era. And I was like, yo, like, you're my bias. That's what I led with. And I just remember she could not stop smiling the whole time we were talking. So I'm like, okay, cool. Like, at least I got to tell her that. And then after her, it was Sohn. And Sohn was so cool. I asked her about her hair because she naturally has short hair, but she always wears extensions during promotions. So I asked her if she was ever just going to pull them out. And she had mentioned to me that when she goes back to Korea, because I think LA was like one of their last stops, if not their last stop. But she mentioned to me that when she goes back to Korea, she was going to take out her extensions and just rock the short hair, which I thought was like, okay, that's cool. And then last was Sujin. And I just had to let her know, I'm like, yo, fam, like, to be the leader through all the ups and all the downs, like, you're amazing. And I think she was surprised just because, like, the way that I look, the way that I dress, I don't look like your typical K-pop fan. So she asked me, she was like, oh, like, what's your favorite song? And without skipping a beat, I told her, I'm like, Top Secret. And she looked kind of taken aback. She's like, oh, wow, like, you're going to get to hear that tonight. And I was stoked. I already knew it was on the playlist, but just to hear her, let me know that they're keeping it on the LA date was awesome. But the fan sign was fun. I was literally the last one in the fan sign. I'll never forget. I got there late because I forget who ran it. I think it was Studio Pav. Yeah, it was Studio Pav. And sometimes when you buy like the top VIP ticket, sometimes it will come with the ticket, and other times you'll have to buy like a general ticket and VIP. And for some reason, I thought that it came with it. So when and shout out to Edward. This is like one of like the first times Edward and I actually hung out. I remember Edward and Monica, they had a different VIP than me, so they got in another line, and I went to walk in like full confidence. Like, oh, can we see your QR code? Yeah, I pull out my QR code. Like, oh, that's your VIP QR code. Where's your ticket QR code? I'm like, oh. I was like, I did not need a ticket. And they're like, all right, like, you got to buy a ticket. So I was like, oh shit. So I bought a ticket, and I walk in, and there was like no like organization. So I thought I was standing in the right line for the fan sign. So I'm standing there, and like we got like a different colored bracelet or some shit. And I'll never forget, the staff member came over and she was like, yo, like you're in the wrong line. And I'm like, oh, sorry. Like nobody told me that there was a wrong line. So she's like, all right, like come with me. So she takes me, and she's like, yo, like you're literally the last one. So like have fun. And that was kind of nice too, because if you've ever done a fan sign, sometimes if you're in the middle of it, you can get rushed through. But since I was the last one, there was literally nobody behind me. So I was just kind of like, I got to take my time, and like the members didn't feel rushed at all. And it was awesome. And then just the concert itself was so cool. Jihan took my phone. I'll never forget that. Like, shout out to the security guard. The security guard definitely hooked it up, because there was like obviously like front row. There was like the little gap in between the stage and then the stage, and there's like encore, and I was holding my phone up because like members were taking people's phones, and the security guard got me with the assist. The security guard grabbed my phone, turns around, and Zoe was walking towards the security guard, and I'm screaming like, no, don't grab my phone, because I could see Jihan right behind her, and like if Zoe would have taken my phone, Jihan would have never grabbed my phone. But luckily Jihan, she came right up, grabbed my phone, and I watched that video like a million times. It was awesome. But happy I got to see Weeekly. And you know what's crazy? So I got to see Weeekly. It was like in October of like 2024. And then a couple weeks after, I flew to Korea for the first time. And I saw, because it was like the season where K-pop groups were playing like every college in Seoul. And I saw some random posts. Shout out to the Instagram algorithm. I saw a post that some random college was hosting Weeekly and Dynamic Duo. And I was like, oh, I've never been to Korea. I've never been to these college concerts. This is something that like I would love to attend. So hit up Matt. I'm like, yo, like, are you down to go to this? Like, where is this? And he's like, honestly, it's like kind of outside Seoul, so might be a mission to get there, but like I'm down. And I'll never forget, yeah, it was literally like outside Seoul. Like we took, I don't remember which subway line we took, but we took it to the end. We got off, and then we had to like Uber like into like the middle of nowhere. It was crazy. But we just like snuck onto campus because we weren't supposed to be there. It was for the students. But I was like, all right, Matt, we got to try our best to blend in. We definitely didn't blend in. We were getting stared at all night, but it was totally worth it because Weeekly speed ran that concert. It was so funny because it was in this giant parking lot of this university, and for the artists there was one way in and one way out. So we saw, because like we're like right up front, so we saw Weeekly pull up, hop out the van, get mic'd up, go on stage. They speed ran their set. They probably played like 4 songs, took off their mic packs, hopped in the van, and took off. And I was like, wow, this was amazing. I was like, I don't know if this is how it normally goes to these college concerts, but like I'm so glad that I got to see Weeekly again. But it was so funny because like I said, there was one way in and one way out. So as they got off stage and they were taking their mic packs off, I grabbed Matt. I'm like, yo, like let's go run to the exit so we can try to get Jihan to notice me. I was like, let me airdrop you my photo, because he had his giant iPad on him. So I was like, let me airdrop you the photo of my Polaroid with Jihan from the LA concert, and as they're driving by, you hold it up and hopefully she'll notice. And he's like, all right, well, like which side of the road do we get on? And I'm like, I don't know. We have 2 options. Let's just pick a side. And we picked the wrong side. We were on the driver's side, and the van's coming up the hill. And Matt and I and some other random foreign guy that we met were like screaming because like we were the only ones there. Nobody else cared. We were screaming, waving by, and Matt had the iPad with like my photo, and he was like waving it to like get their attention, and one of the windows rolls down, and I'm thinking like, oh my god, we did it, we got her attention, but it wasn't her. It was Monday. Monday just started pointing and laughing, but Jihan was on the other side, so unfortunately we picked the wrong side. But it was such a cool night, and by chance, that college performance was their last performance ever. Like after that, they went dark, and then the announcement came that they weren't going to renew their contracts and that Weeekly was disbanding, which is definitely devastating because Weeekly top 3 K-pop groups for me, like Twice #1, Weeekly #2, and recently 3 is just interchangeable because there's just so many good groups. Like Stacy's still up there, Triple S is still up there, Say My Name, QWER. There's just so many good groups. Yeah, so 3 is just always interchangeable. But yeah, I'm happy to have been able to experience Weeekly. I'll never forget Weeekly. I will always talk about Weeekly. I would love if down the road, when we get to like 10 years, if they would randomly pop up, I would drop everything to go just to be able to see them again. And I never got to hear a full version of Tag Me live because when they performed on the tour, they did a 3-song medley: Tag Me, Zigzag, and Holiday Party. And I'm like, those are 3 of your best songs. Like, why would you throw that in a medley? Because there was others like newer songs that they performed, which I kind of get. Okay, the newer songs, they want to promote more of the like current stuff. But like, bro, this is your first like world tour. Like, people want to hear Weeekly. Like, Zigzag is highly underrated. Holiday Party goes off, but I would love to hear full versions of those live one day. But yeah, we'll never forget Weeekly. Jihan is my bias. If you follow me on Instagram and you always wonder, who's that weird girl that Jamie uses as his profile picture? It's Jihan from Weeekly. But yeah, anytime I go to Korea, I hope to run into them. And I've run into one member, which maybe one day I'll tell that story. But I've run into one of them. Had some close calls. On that same first trip to Korea, Matt and I went to Naksan Park, and we just missed Jihan by like an hour, which would have been insane. But yeah, I would love to run into all of them. But they may have disbanded, but we will cross paths again sooner or later. But we're at the mall. I did have to dig into my K-pop collection, and I grabbed something from Weekly's first birthday that I will show you guys. I haven't opened it since I bought it 5 years ago. But we're gonna head to the other location so we can set up the camera and I'll show you guys what's in the bag. Happy birthday, Weekly. No, this is like a throwback. This is... I remember I bought a bunch of other stuff too. I got like a pair of socks, which I never wore. Yeah. What's in here? Like I said, I haven't opened this for 5 years. Let me show you. Happy birthday, Weekly. If you ever see my car, you're like, oh, why does his license plate say Weekly? It's because of this K-pop group. Anything in here? Okay. Wow. Look This is crazy because unfortunately Ji-yoon is no longer in the group. So if you're a newer Weeekly fan, Weeekly is 6 members. Okay. Wow. Shin Ji-yoon. She does solo stuff now. Seon. You know what's funny is after talking to Seon at the fan sign, she had told me that when she gets back to Korea, she's gonna take out her extensions, and she was telling the truth because when I saw them at that college outside of Seoul, she had short hair. So Park Seon speaks the truth. Okay. Zoa. What a great actress. All right, who's next? Lee Jae-hee. Feature actress. Wow. Wow. What an angel. I love Jihan so much. Monday. Soojin, our leader, our fearless leader, Lee Soojin. Wow. I thought all the other stuff, because when they had their first birthday, I bought everything that was in the store. Like I said, I bought like the socks, the keychain, this LP poster pack. But man, I still can't believe we're here 6 years later. I was honestly hoping that they would be active till the end. I was hoping that they would outlast me in K-pop, but unfortunately, that's just how it goes in K-pop. Just like anything in life, you gotta try to enjoy it in real time, because nothing is guaranteed. Like I said, like these girls were like the darlings of the industry when After School was out, and then you could just have some adversity, because like putting out After School, like literally like their like biggest song ever, I always knew, like, I don't know if they're ever going to be able to top this, which is fine, because it's going to be really hard to top that. And they came out with Holiday Party, which I thought was like, okay, like you could see the success that After School brought them when they're promoting Holiday Party, because like you can tell with like the music videos, they had a bigger budget, and they're like, all right, they didn't have another viral success like After School with Holiday Party, which is totally fine. Then I don't know if it was somebody wanting to sabotage them, but they just came out with Venpara, which wasn't the worst song. Like, it's like that thing where, like, Little Caesars, tastes so good when there's not a bitch in your ear telling you that it sucks. But Venpara wasn't that bad. I think if they would have pivoted and gone with the B-side Solar, if they would have came out with that would probably have been like received way better. But the biggest issue with Venpara was just the sudden like shift sonically, because After School, Holiday Party, and just like Weekly's identity was just very poppy, very colorful, you know, that teen fresh vibe. And then when they just switched to Venpara trying to ride the girl crush wave, it just didn't suit them that well, if I'm being honest. And I think they understood that, because when they came back, there was no girl crush inside. They kind of like returned to like the poppier, more dancey stuff. But yeah, that dark period just sucked. If they, I feel like if they would have came out with something poppy, like if they didn't go down the girl crush route, they could still be around. But we'll never know. That's why I'm happy I got to enjoy them in real time. I will never, as long as I live, Weeekly will never die. I'll never change my profile picture. It'll be Jihan till the end. I want to make a playlist. Something I've been wanting to do. Just wanted, because the discography, you know, for them being around for 4 years, the discography isn't that big, so I'm just gonna make a playlist. Every Weeekly song, from my favorite to my least favorite. They're all good though. They're all top tier. But 6 years. Let's do this again next year when we hit 7 years. 6 years is kind of special because there's 6 members. But Weeekly, like their whole concept, every member represented a day of the week. So next year will be 7. Even though they're not 7, I think it'll still be a special anniversary. But catch you guys again in the next one. Weeekly forever.